Good afternoon, I'm KPRC2 weather intern Khalil Ray, and have you ever heard of the term corn sweat? Well, let me break it down to you in a way that a lot of us learned it in grade school science. Now, there's this process known as transpiration, which is basically the same as human sweating. So these plants pretty much, they have a lot of water in their system and they release it back into the atmosphere just the way we do when we get hot. Now, just 1 acre of corn like this right here can produce 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water. Now, what does this have to do with heat exactly? Well, the more water there is in the atmosphere, usually the higher the dew point. And when there's a higher dew point, you have more humidity, and that also increases what those feels like temperatures are. So oftentimes in Houston, when we deal with the humidity, we often talk about the feels like temperature instead of the actual air temperature, because it often feels a lot worse than what we're actually dealing with. Now, instead of the Gulf that we have as our water source, or our humidifier, I'd say, in our backyard, the Midwest has corn. And that's why oftentimes they see these heat advisories, because of all that water that is released from the corn really brings up those dew points, which brings up those feels like temperatures. So those heat indices could easily reach into the triple digits because of all that extra water from the corn. And also, they're not used to the same amount of heat that we are usually in Houston or just in Texas in general, so it doesn't take as much for them to get a heat advisory compared to us. Now, of course, there are ways that you can still keep cool. Make sure you drink plenty of water, and preferably cold. Also, make sure your AC is working. You don't want to come inside from the heat just to be in the heat again because your AC is not working. So always make sure to have that prepared as well. So the next time you're up in the Midwest and you're wondering why does it feel so hot outside, you have this right here to blame.